Yachu, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Americo Mendoza Mori. I work at the University of Pennsylvania. Also today we are organizing this welcome event along with Erica. Ayin Yachu, Erica.
Ayin yam Americo imainayam.
Ayin kusisha kashani, kusisha kunan sumach mi punchay. Thank you all for joining us. While we start, we're having different events. We're going to try to do it interactive as possible, but welcome first. And so I know it's usually we would do this event in a big room with food, with some Inca Cola, with some cancha, with some choclo, right? But in the other hand, you are in different places. You are in different parts of the world. So thank you for joining us. One of the things we would like to do is to give the opportunity to learn some phrases and to know each other. And probably the best way to do that is by sharing, by introducing ourselves using some phrases in Quechua. So we would like to share with you some phrases. So, okay, here. Okay. Erica, ayin yachu.
Ayin yam Americo.
Iman sutiiki.
Sutija Erica.
Maimanta kanki, Erica.
Ayacucho manta kani.
Kusa. Ayin. Kangri. Noka Peru manta kani. Ika manta kani. Okay, let's try one more time. Charlotte, Yanapaway. Erikawan.
Ayin yachu, Erica.
Ayin yam.
Iman tutiki.
Erica, sutija Erica.
Mai manta kanki.
Peru manta kani. Hamri.
Philadelphia manta kani.
Kusapuni ayinmi. Briana, Yanapaway. Ayin yachu.
Ayin yam.
Iman sutiiki.
Sutija Briana.
Maimanta kanki, Briana.
Nueva York Mantacani. Hambre.
Ayinmi, kusa, anyay. Okay, now we would like to invite you to greet each other. We're going to put you in small groups so you can greet other people. But don't worry, you might say, but I don't remember. We are putting this dialogue here on the chat. Please look at the chat and you are going to introduce yourself. Ayin Yachu, Ayin Liang. Okay, Anyay, Waijepanikuna, thank you. I don't know, we were just wondering if we can get 2 volunteers to see how far you got. You can raise your hands if you want to jump. 2 volunteers, maybe 2 victims. Okay, Marianne, 1 person. Who else? Okay, Pina, Cancuna, please go. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Ayin yachu, Pina.
Pina, mute, Kanki, manang uyarita atinichu.
China.
Ari, Kusa.
Ayin yachu, Marian.
Ayin yan.
Kusa. May mantam kanki.
Hawaii manta kani.
Hawaii.
Ari.
Ayim yam. Nyukaha Lima, Peru mantam kani.
Kusa puni ayinmi, anyay, Kusa. Okay. Thank you. Well, let's try one more time. The idea is that it's just an excuse to practice some Quechua, but also to meet each other, right, in this virtual platform. So let me put you in another group so we can get a chance to know each other with other people. Thank you. Añay. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for being able to connect and meet and greet each other. We are all here because we have an interest in Quechua, in celebrating indigenous cultures, indigenous languages, and to make this part an integral aspect of academia, of society. So congratulations to all of you for being here and for supporting us. So thank you for coming. Let's start first. We want to do an acknowledgement because I think this is an important aspect every time we start an event that recognizes the presence and the value of indigenous languages and cultures. We recognize and acknowledge that the University of Pennsylvania stands on indigenous territory known as Lenapehoking, the traditional homelands of the Lenape, also called Lenni Lenape or Delaware Indians. These are the people who during the 1680s negotiated with William Penn to facilitate the founding of the colony of Pennsylvania, the place where we are now. Well, some of you, some of us. Their descendants today include the Delaware tribe and Delaware Nation of Oklahoma, the Nanticoke Lenni Lenape, Ramapough Lenape, and Powhatan Lenape of New Jersey, and the Mansi Delaware of Ontario. So we want to acknowledge this and be thankful to be in Turtle Island or Lenapehoking. Many of you are aware of Quechua. We want to share a bit of our program. Quechua is the most indigenous language of the Americas. It has millions of speakers, between 8, 9, 10 million speakers across the Andes. And we are happy that the Quechua Language Program here at Penn can offer classes through the Penn Language Center, and currently is the only Ivy League institution to do so in such capacity. Our courses encompass Quechua language and Andean culture topics, and we invite you to learn more about our program. Just by you being here, you are helping us, and also to become aware of our activities and research initiatives. For instance, additionally to the classes, we try to work on campus to raise awareness on the relevance of indigenous languages and cultures in academia and the media and beyond. We are happy to collaborate with elementary schools, middle schools, other institutions to make indigenous cultures a key aspect of the curricula. We also like to promote collaborations and partnerships with other Penn programs and departments, other universities, community organizations, and even the United Nations. Every year we work and we travel to the UN with students to the Forum on Indigenous Issues, so we can see on and to discuss and learn from different leaders from across the world. And we also find that it's important to promote the presence of indigenous scholars and activists at universities, of course, specifically at Penn. That's why we always organize activities such as the Indigenous Language Week. We organize Quechua gatherings. We partner with other organizations, for example, some departments and cultural centers like Natives at Penn, the Greenfield Intercultural Center, the Alumni Association, the La Casa Latina, because again, it's important not just to offer the class, but to facilitate more voices and more perspectives about indigenous peoples and cultures. These are, for example, some pictures. Here we have, for example, the Quechua writer Pablo Landeo, who won Peru's National Prize. In 2019, he was at Penn last fall, or the Aymara leader Rosa Palomino, who came to Penn to give a talk, or the Bolivian Aymara diplomat Gilbert Mamani, who talked about indigenous diplomacy, an aspect that is still not that much explored. We also understand that you as students or you as faculty or administrators want not just to celebrate the value of indigenous cultures, but also to facilitate opportunities to the students who take the bold commitment or of trying to incorporate Quechua or other indigenous studies into their curricula. So for example, we're happy to work with students, and some of our students have been able to earn Fulbright, FLAS, and other type of prestigious grants that help them keep going on their journey on continue their studies in Quechua and indigenous cultures. And also we are very happy that one of the opportunities that we're happy to facilitate and that allows us to learn a lot, again, is the Fulbright FLTA scholarship. This year, despite the pandemics, despite this context, we are very happy to count with Erica Villanueva-Bautista. Erica is a native Quechua speaker from Ayacucho. She got her bachelor's degree in biology and graduated in the graduate studies in environmental project management at Universidad San Cristóbal de Huamanga, and she graduated as the top of her class. She also worked as an adjunct faculty and as a research assistant. She then got other prestigious scholarships and has taught Quechua in Peru. And additionally, Erica has worked as a biodiversity project assistant at Ayacucho's regional government. She is here in Philadelphia since September. We're very happy to have her. She will be the Quechua Fulbright FLTA of this academic year until May. And we're just happy, and we want to give her a welcome. So welcome, Erica. Bienvenida. Ayin Hamus Hakanki to you. And she's going to share with us some words so you can know her, because as you know, she will be here throughout this academic year.
Thank you very much, Americo. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming to this event. This event is very important for us. Well, as this opportunity to be in the University of Pennsylvania for me is great, and I feel very happy to share my language and also the culture from the Andes of Peru and also of Hollandian that also takes Bolivia and many other countries. Well, in this aspect, my major objective is to be that you can know the culture and the language through my person. I mean, I want to be such a tool to you to learn this culture and the language especially. Also, it is very important to keep in mind that Quechua is a language that's going to help us to understand better the way of living from a group of people, mostly that live in the towns of Peru, no? Because also it's spoken around most places of Peru. Also, I think it's important to learn a language to communicate each other, to interact, no? That's why I am very happy to be here. And again, thank you for coming. We hope you can take advantage about this event. Thank you very much, Americo, and thank you very much to all of you.
Kusa, Anyay, welcome, Erica. Yes, we are very happy. We are glad that the university is supporting us on this. I mean, one of the things of having the presence of indigenous studies and indigenous people and cultures in academia is that we need to also have concrete spaces and gain those spaces, rather residential halls, specific staff that cater to the students, groups, and of course, professional opportunities. I want to mention and acknowledge, for example, that here in the group, we have Toys Holmes, who works with first generation students and also native students at Penn. And that's such a great resource that every university should have. I don't want to put Toys on the spot, but if you just want to say hi so people can know you, please, you can just raise your hand and just greet us. But it's very important. Hello, Toys.
Hi, everybody. Honde de onde. That's hello and good to see you in Kiowa. But thank you, Americo. It's good to see everyone. And I appreciate this space and the time to be together. I don't want to take any more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Toys. Well, so let's go to the, I also want to share some testimony of a student who graduated from the program, and they are doing many things. For example, Devi Rabinovich, who graduated in 2019, and she's sharing that Quechua was just, taking Quechua at Penn was just more than the class, but a community. She was able to cultivate a connection with her own indigeneity and able to connect with students who were also passionate about Andean culture. She was able to travel last summer to Peru and work at the Museum of Memory to learn about the history of some of unfortunate but important to recall the violence against many groups, especially women. And we're happy that now Devi is starting this semester a master in international law at Oxford University. So we are very glad and that Devi, this picture is when we went together to the United Nations last year. This is, for example, Jordan Liparra. We have an agreement with neighboring colleges, such as Haverford College, which is in the Philadelphia area. And he also shares, as you can see, the story of his family and like learning the language, reclaiming the language is an opportunity to reconnect with the family identity and to make it relevant in our current time. And we also have Gleason Ryan, who she also acknowledges that, yes, we're glad that you are here, but on the other hand, it's so rare for colleges to offer Quechua, but it's so important because, again, it's a way to learn everyone. You don't have to be native or have a Quechua heritage to recognize and know more about traditional knowledge that is usually not understood. As Gleason said one time, is if you say that you are studying Latin, people say, okay, that's fine, right? But if you say you're learning Quechua, sometimes they might say, why do you do that? And of course, there are many good reasons, but we need to still raise awareness on this aspect. Additionally to that, I want to share and pass the mic to the Andean Representation, which is an organization for the spread, advancement, and acknowledgement of Andean culture. They do different events. Oh, I'm sorry, this event date is not correct, but they get together, they do karaoke, they get together to drink chicha morada or chicha ecuatoriana, chicha venezolana. I don't know why in Ecuador they call it chicha venezolana to chicha ecuatoriana. So we are with Melissa, who is gonna share a little bit about the organization. So please, Melissa, we invite you to join us and say a few words.
Hi, can you hear me okay with the mask? Okay, good. Hi, so I want to thank Americo for the opportunity to speak a bit about the Andean representation. So basically, we are a student group on campus at Penn that is aimed at providing a community for students that identify as Andean and people who are interested in Andean culture. Our purpose kind of goes beyond this though too, because we also want to be a representative of indigeneity in general amongst Latinx communities. There's a tendency in the United States for homogenization. Latinos or Latinx people are always kind of grouped into certain categories, Mexican, Puerto Rican, but we're really so diverse, and a lot of our culture is rooted in indigenous tradition. So basically we like to have events and foster a community where we can explore our indigenous traditions, but also to explore themes that are relevant to to our identities, to our communities, and things like that. So this semester, it's a little bit difficult because of the virtual nature of everything, but we're hoping to have some events and to hopefully create like a little project showing off our indigenous backgrounds. And so yeah, if there's any students here that are interested, or anyone really, you don't have to be a student and you don't have to go to Penn, but if you're interested in anything that the Andean representation is going to do this semester and upcoming semester, just write your email in the chat and I can add you to the listserv. And yeah, we're hoping to do something this month. So yeah, thank you so much for the time, and hopefully I'll see some of you soon.
Thank you, Melissa. And well, I mean, Melissa is, for example, an Ecuadorian American student and working at the underrepresentation, and they do, as you mentioned, very exciting activities. For today, to keep going with our program, we have some special guests, and I'm going to let Erica introduce us to our special guest.
Well, today our special guest is Mr. Silvestre Ataucusi Flores. We are glad to have him for this event. He is originally from San Luis de Picha, from Vinchos, Ayacucho, Peru. He makes retablos with an aged hieroglyph style. His creative talent was inherited from his parents, well, who were dedicated to knitting ponchos, blankets, and chompis. They are chompis, are Andean belts. Also, Mr. Ataucusi Flores has received many recognition and awards. He is also considered a major promoter of Ayacucho's cultural heritage. When visiting Ayacucho, please, you can find him in his workshop called Casa del Retablo. Now, here is Mr. Silvestre Ataucusi Flores. We are very thankful and glad to have him with us. Muchas gracias, Maestro Silvestre Ataucusi Flores. Añay, Kaipi Kashaikimanta. Uyaris Haikiku, Maestro.
Nyuha Kaipe Kosis Hakachkani, Limakuikos Ajiapan, Kai Mundo Perunacunata, Turita, Panita, Kai Inglas Kwasaki, Kumanta, señorita Erica.
Oh, well, Mr. Silvestre Ataucusi, tell us, welcome. I am going to share my knowledge about this culture. Continúa, Maestro Silvestre.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias por este enlace y agradecerlo también a la Universidad de Filadelfia, ya Pensilvania, de Estados Unidos, y por este evento virtual Cultura Andina e Indígena. Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, esta vez vamos a conocer el retablo ayacuchano peruano. El retablo ayacuchano, si bien se sabe, a América llega pues con los conquistadores, traen los religiosos unas cajas santeros o altares portátiles que para la conquista, para ellos han servido para evangelizar. Así llegan los antecedentes y después aquí en Ayacucho los huamanguinos aprenden este arte colonial española, la imaginería o también los tallados de retablos de las iglesias, y después ya nace el famoso cajón de San Marcos. Aquí en Ayacucho, con los maestros ayacuchanos, tenemos en este lado la imagen de un cajón de San Marcos. Era exclusivamente para venerar en fiesta de los animales, no era para decoración. Eso era de Grey.
Maestro Silvestre Pampachaway, kunanja noka traducción ta ruwasaj. The Master Silvestre is talking about retablo. Retablo is a traditional art. As you can see, it looks like a little box and is from the region of Ayacucho. And he's going to share with us a specific of the work he's doing.
Y después de los retablos ayacuchanos, hoy en día ya la evolución del retablo ha cambiado, que hoy en día ya se encuentra en esta variedad, que podemos verlo con los altos relieves envejecidos. El retablo ayacuchano tiene un cambio hasta la actualidad en esta representación.
So what the maestro is sharing is that throughout this evolution period, what he just showed is kind of like the last generation of the tradition of building up the retablos. That has this more like a 3D format.
Bueno, ahora vamos a conocer lo más breve posible los insumos o materiales con que se hace el retablo ayacuchano.
And now we're going to check what are the products we use to make the retablo.
Tiene para hacer un retablo ayacuchano tiene tres áreas. El área de carpintería donde se hacen las cajas de madera. Y después en el área de modelado tenemos los materiales, la papa y el yeso de construcción. Y después de modelarlo se pasa al área de pintar.
So there are two main areas when thinking on how to make the retablo. First, we have the wood, the carpenter workshop to make the actual retablo, and then we work with the potato and I think the word is just like for the material to make the little miniatures.
Ahora vamos a conocer las herramientas que usamos para hacer el modelado. Para que salga como esta figura, usamos el aril de metal, una espátula, una rodilla, que es netamente hecho a mano.
So he's showing the tools he uses for the crafting the miniatures.
Estamos en proceso de preparado. La papa y el yeso, los dos se combinan y va a salir la pasta de papa. Es un material originalmente aquí en Ayacucho nace el pasta de papa que se hace los retablos ayacuchanos.
So here we're about to do a mix between the cast and the potato. It's interesting to point out, right, how potato is so important in the Andes, right? That is, you can eat it, but now we can also use it for art.
Ya, bueno, estamos preparando, vamos a hacer el modelado de una figura que se hace con este aril de metal y vamos haciendo el modelado, el preparado, o vamos a contarle la historia del museo de Casa del Retablo.
So while I'm making and modeling this new this mix between the cast and the potato, I'm going to tell you the story of the place where he is, the Casa del Retablo.
Es una institución cultural, es un museo que nosotros brindamos el servicio de varios espacios. El primer espacio que tenemos es que hacemos ver la historia y evolución del retablo ayacuchano a través del tiempo que ha evolucionado hasta hoy en día.
So the place where we at, you come and you learn about in a more extended way of the story of the retablo, how it evolutionized until today.
Servicios que brindamos también al visitante, a los turistas que nos visitan aquí en Perú, a Ayacucho. También este espacio es donde hacemos ver cómo se hace el retablo ayacuchano. y los tiendas de recuerdo donde nosotros ofrecemos retablo ayacuchano como una experiencia, ¿no? Como
So we also do, if you visit us, we do live displays on how to make a retablo, and we also have a souvenir shop for anyone who comes and visit us.
Es una institución familiar que integramos toda una familia, hijos, hermanos, sobrinos. Trabajamos 14 talleres que estamos integrados para hacer esta historia o este negocio familiar. A través de este museo nosotros ofrecemos nuestra experiencia de vida, nuestra vivencia.
So this is also a family enterprise because the members of the Maestro Ataucusi Flores are the ones involved in this museum and the workshop as well.
Bueno, ahora vamos a modelarlo para que ustedes tengan esa experiencia. ¿Cómo se hace un retablo ayacuchano?
So now we're gonna model it so you can get the sense of how we make the retablos, the miniatures.
Estamos modelando y este aril es lo que nos va a ayudar a trabajar para sus
This little tool will help us to get into the details.
detalles del rostro.
For example,
Tiene
the
dos
face.
puntas, plana y un ponteado que tiene para sacar los partes hundidos.
So one side of the tool is to check on the details, and the other side is to take off whatever extra is.
Si tienen alguna pregunta, puede preguntar.
We want to open it for questions.
Este es el primer museo que brinda también turismo vivencial. Los que desean aprender retablo ayacuchano, vienen las personas que quieren aprender en 3 días, pueden realizar su propio retablo. Es un servicio que nosotros brindamos, el alojamiento y la alimentación, y el visitante hace su propio retablo en 3 días. Pues, más.
So what he's sharing is that if you are interested also to spend the night at the museum, they offer accommodations, and they offer an special, they call it like a life experience tourism, where in 3 days, if you stay with them for 3 days, you stay at the museum, but you also learn how to make your own retablo with Maestro Ataucusi Flores.
Este es el primer etapa de modelado, ya lo tenemos, un anciano que vamos a buscar un movimiento de un baile, de una fiesta que tiene un movimiento de una alegría.
So for example, this first miniature is an old person who is dancing in probably in a festivity of Ayacucho. And there you can see the second stage. What we saw was the first one, and now the second stage of the modeling process.
Sí. Estos son los fiestas que bailan en Ayacucho, la danza de tijeras. Y parte abajo están las carnavales y las confecciones de los instrumentos.
So here we have like the final product on how the musicians, and in the upper part we have the scissor dancers. So this is the whole process, going from like the potato and cast into this final product. So we have a question. Dominic, please go.
¿Cuál es la parte que consuma más tiempo? What is the most time-consuming part?
Bueno, absorbiendo su pregunta, el principal que nos toma el tiempo es el modelado, donde se hace a mano una figura hecha como esto, que lleva un tiempo, un promedio de 25 minutos. Pero también hay retablos hechos a molde, es en serie, no tiene muchas complicaciones, pero si es hecho a mano es único, que no puede ser con el otro retablo igual. Esa es la diferencia, que a molde puede ser...
So the hardest part, the maestro was saying, is the modeling of the miniatures, especially if you do it by hand. If you use like a template, a mold, then it's fast. But if you do it by hand, then it's unique.
Hacer las figuras modelados se pasa en un área de pintado con las pinturas y se va coloreando con un pincel. Como en este caso, vamos a pintar la chompa de figurita.
So in this case, we're on the second stage, and we're gonna paint the sweater of this little miniature.
Así vamos coloreando, pintando cada uno de acuerdo de los costumbres que en el campo o en el pueblo se ve, y después se coloca al retablo, puede pintar el coro. Va colocando con un pegamento, se fija el último acabado.
And here, like this, we put on the retablo, in the box, every of the characters that represents people from the rural area. They are kind of like characters of the rural life.
Y entonces sería esto el acabado con un retablo ayacuchano. En este caso estamos viendo la Semana Santa del Señor de Resurrección, que está en el Anda. En Ayacucho es la fiesta más grande, nuestra Semana Santa, fiesta religiosa.
So this is the final version of a retablo that depicts the Holy Week or Eastern, that is probably the biggest festivity in Ayacucho. Bueno, muchísimas gracias, maestro. Anchata Añaykichi, thank you very much. Le agradecemos mucho por su tiempo y por compartir su labor de artística. We thank you for sharing with us your artistic work, and everybody will be happy to know about Casa del Retablo, ¿no? Todo el mundo va a querer conocer la Casa del Retablo, y cuando sea posible viajar a los Andes, por favor, viajen a Ayacucho. And so please, when everything is possible to travel, we'll be able to go. Maybe you can take a 3-day course with Maestro Ataucusi, and you come back and you make here at Penn a retablo, a unique retablo. Muchísimas gracias, Maestro Ataucusi, Tupananchiskama. Gracias.
Muchas gracias a ustedes también. Bueno, a nosotros nos pueden encontrar en Facebook como Casa del Retablo, Instagram también. Gustosamente le vamos a atender.
He was saying that you can look that up, as you see in the background, Casa del Retablo. That's their site on social media. Time always runs out. I know that another Zoom meeting is exhausting, so we really appreciate that you join us today and you were able to practice some Quechua with us, but mostly to celebrate, and in this case, learn from the knowledge of Maestro Ataucusi Flores from Ayacucho, which for some of you who just joined us is also Erica's hometown. And that's why we wanted to showcase someone from Erica's, the current Quechua Fulbright FLTA at Penn. So thank you very much for coming and for be part of this. The way to say bye is Tupananchiskama. I'm gonna write it, Tupanan Chiskama. So thank you so much for coming and for joining us, and keep in touch. Tupanan Chiskama to all of you. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you
very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much. Gracias, Anyay.
Assalamualaikum, hampunaraikum.
Silvestre.
Anyay maestro, anyay liu.
Tupanan Chiskama, Tinkuna
Tupanan Chiskama.
Anyay.
Tinkuna Kama, Tupanan Chiskama.